a product review on my STIHL BR 800C. This is the premier landscaping tool that you can use to move lots of debris, whether it's snow, whether it's leaves, whether it's rocks. This will get it done. In the industry, this is absolutely the flagship. This is number one. I'm going to tell you why it's number one. I'm going to tell you some of the features that you may not have known about. I'm going to show you how to get a third more power out of your BG 800 blower. It's a simple fix. Many people don't understand that there is a secret switch. Early on, when I bought my first car, I was looking at the paperwork and it said these words, non-high altitude use. I asked the salesman, what is that? And he said, oh, that's nothing. It's only if you lived in certain climates like Colorado where the air is thinner. This machine has a switch on it. Depending on where you live, still doesn't broadcast this. And the reason they don't, because every place that people live is different and the atmosphere is different. They say to switch the switch over when it's winter. But if you live in certain states, if it's fall, if your machine isn't running at 100%, what you can do is test it, switch the switch over, see how it runs, and depending on where you live in the United States, you might get a third more power. Let me go ahead and show you where the location of the switch is and then what we do next to give you more power. I went ahead and used this. It's just a flathead screwdriver here and here. Now, friends, I'm using this because my STIHL multi-tool someone had taken. I can't tell you how many times I've used that multi-tool. That crazy multi-tool is 50 bucks, but everything that I need for my weed eaters, for my chainsaw, where it's right there and I can put it in my pocket. And sometimes I leave it somewhere and you know what they do? They steal it. You should not steal. This pulls off. This is your air filter. One of the things that you might want to do is blow this out. It seems like, oh, it's no big deal. Friends, if you've used your blower for 2 months, 3 months, this, depending on where you live, is filled. And what you can do is blow it out. This is a brand new one. I just got this. You can get a tune-up kit for $9 for this, and I would suggest doing that. $9. And here's the thing. Every year, I put a tune-up kit on. I'll put one in the description for $9, $10. Are you pleased? But look, here's your switch right here. Okay, they show summer and winter. So what I do, I just flip that over. That's all you have to do. Friends, you would not believe the difference flipping that switch in the fall, in the winter makes. Again, if you live somewhere where the air is thinner, okay, because you might be watching this and you're on the other side of the world, still isn't going to promote this switch for atmosphere, okay, for how thin the air is or thick the air is. But I've noticed if you just kind of nudge it over and you notice that your blower gives you a whole lot more power, guess what? It worked for you. The guys, most people don't really understand the fullness of what this does. This is the silver bottle. There's an orange bottle. Let me tell you what this does. This not only lubricates the engine, okay, but it scrubs down the gas. When you have ethanol in your gas, this is going to meet with the molecules and it's going to burn out the ethanol. And what you have is something called carbon. Okay, so it's lubricating the engine, but it's also mixing with the molecules and it's purposely scrubbing the gas. It's basically taking the ethanol out of the gas, but it has to go somewhere, okay? Where does it go? Come here and let me show you where it goes. When you go ahead and take this plastic polymer sheath off, and again, this is ballistic polymer, this just isn't plastic. When you take that off, you're gonna be able to access the muffler. On your muffler are 2 screws. Okay, when you take those 2 screws out, you're going to notice something, and it's called an arrestor. And what the arrestor does is it stops the sparks, stops the carbon from coming out of this. A lot of people, what they do is they just remove the arrestor. I wouldn't suggest doing that because here's the thing. You will have fire coming out of that muffler from time to time, like sparks, almost like a sparkler. But what you do is that arrestor, that carbon buildup, you can either replace that, and it's not that big. And again, you can get them on Amazon. I'll put one in the link. Or you can take a lighter, just a torch lighter, and you can burn all the carbon out. More times than not, if this machine is not running and it's summer and it was running good, 99% of the time, it's the spark arrestor. You take that off, you burn the carbon out. It looks kind of like a filter. I'll show a picture when I'm talking about this. You put that back and guess what? All of a sudden, you have all of this power. That spark arrestor, depending on how bad the gas is in your state. If you're not putting the good stuff in it, if you're not putting the recreational fuel in it, and you're just using the regular stuff out of the pump, you know what I mean? Which you can do that because that's why they sell this stuff, okay? You're gonna have a huge carbon buildup. So maybe every 2 months, you're gonna have to pull that arrestor off. You're gonna have to burn it out. And guess what you're gonna notice? Baby's running like $1 million bucks. You also can go to your STIHL dealer and you can walk in there, and most times if the mechanic's there, you can say, hey, would you juice the idle? And what that's gonna do is he's gonna just tweak it this much. I let them do it because they're really good at what they're doing. They just turn the knob this much and she runs high. That's what I want. I want that air volume coming out. I paid to have the big unit on my back. I want to see leaves and snow flying all over the place. Besides doing the tune-up, besides turning it from summer to winter, besides cleaning out your spark arrestor, what I like to do is I like to just run the good stuff through it. If you've been running garbage gas for some time through this unit, yes, you can clean out the spark arrestor. There's nothing like running this motor mix through it. And I know this stuff is expensive. This right here is probably 14 bucks or something. You can go to your STIHL dealer and get it, but running a tank or two through it, it conditions all of the internal hardware and it makes it run like brand new. Friends, if you do all these things that I'm talking about, you're not going to have any problems. This unit is a dream for homeowners, but this is the unit that all commercial landscapers, 90% of them that do any kind of lawn maintenance, they're going to have several of these in their arsenal. Comes with a 79cc engine, very, very powerful. Has 4.4 horsepower, which again is more than ample. The air coming out of the nozzle is 230 miles per hour. But that's not a big deal as much as the CFM. CFM means cubic feet per minute, the volume of air that is coming out. It just means is how much air can this move within 1 minute. That's why the higher the CFM, the better blower that you have. This unit right here has 912, which is insane. And if you've ever seen someone trying to blow off a parking lot full of snow, and they're just standing in one place because they don't have enough CFM. This has more than enough, and you'll notice not only are you blowing it, but you're blowing it and what's in front of it and what's in front of it. It's just moving out of the way because of the amount of volume that's coming out with the power. STIHL hasn't just redesigned this. What they have done is they've enlarged the housing and the impeller, and you notice it. If you've gotten one of these before and it wasn't all that, this is all that. Now this version is 25.8 pounds, but the way it's distributed on your back, it doesn't feel like it. If you go with the version that's the X, and again, the X is the discounted version by about $50. It has a solid tube, so when you want to change the tube, you have to actually take the tubes off and maneuver them back and forth. Also, your pull string for your starter is right here. A lot of people, it's just what you like. At first, I didn't think I was going to like the side start. Okay, I actually love it. With the X, you get the pull string on the back. Not a big deal, but every time I turn that thing off, I have to go start it and then put it back on. And I don't want to ask some guy that I'm talking to, hey, would you pull my rope? The sound pressure rating is 78 decibels. It's not deafening when you use it. Yeah, it's good to wear ear protection. I don't always do it because it's really not that loud. The fuel capacity is 67.6 ounces. It actually holds a lot of fuel and it burns a lot of fuel. But again, the EPA has come along and forced STIHL engineering to adjust this thing. They've done it in a manner and a way where we have not lost power, but it's much more fuel efficient now than it ever has been. And I don't mind the technology that's inside of it. I find it kind of delightful that I'm not always having to fill the tank. Let me spin this thing around, show you some of the different things. This is adjustable here, meaning I can move this up and back. The X, you cannot do that. So this can move forward up to here. The handle can go up and down. That is a bonus. If you go with the X version of this unit, you're gonna miss this. And I tell you what, everyone's arms are different lengths, so it's nice being able to slide this up, slide this down. When we look at the padding, this is the thicker padding, and it feels good on your back. I mean, look how thick that is. I like all the snaps in the orange color. They're robust. I have some here on the bottom, some on the top. This harness, the way it's made, you can wear this all day and there's no real fatigue on your back. And again, it is fully adjustable depending on how big or how small you are. All right, guys, so what do I do to start it, okay? This is how it comes like this. Give this a couple pushes, okay? Turn this on choke. When you hit the gas, that will go off of choke. And then you just put this thing on. Pull here a little bit, and you can feel it tensing up, okay? Now watch this. So guys, this gives you, do you see how much power that has? It gives you insane, look at this. It gives you insane power. Now, you don't need more than that. You really don't. And that is with the winter on, okay? Friends, if I was to put it back down, because we're not there at winter yet, I would have about 20% more power, if not 30%. Now, to adjust the throttle, you just flip this, and this moves up and back. It's not a big deal, but it is if yours doesn't have one, okay? So that's why I'd say pay the $50. Now, at first, I didn't know what to think about the side start. I was like, man, do I really want that? Because I feel like the one in the back with the rope, it's thicker, it's better. This has Easy Start on it, so it coils, it tightens up, and then you go like that. It starts within 1 or 2 pulls every single time. Now guys, one of the best things about this unit is this. It's just downright fun, especially when it's snowing. Your neighbors will love you because you can blow 2, 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches of snow off their car, off their driveway, out of the lawn. You can clear your paths, everything with this unit. I mean, it is just an all-around, all-year-long awesome piece of equipment. It's worth the money because it's pricey, okay? No one's going to say it's not pricey, but here's the thing. It will last for years. If you buy the 2-in-1 oil, like they say, they double the warranty. I've never had to turn anything in from STIHL other than a weed eater that needed adjusting out of all the years that I've used STIHL equipment. Get one of these for all the kids in your family. I know they're like $600–700. I think everyone in your family needs like 1 or 2 of these. Put one under the tree for your wife. Christmas is coming. I mean, she's gonna thank you when she looks at your checking account and she sees that you dropped $8 grand. Just tell her, hey baby, welcome to the new world.